Michelle Obama has openly admitted that she and Barack sleep in separate bedrooms. Here's how it works. She sleeps downstairs, and he likes men. Chinning. The weather. Let's do a monologue. Rumors continue to escalate for the Obamas. Hopefully they can settle it like men.
And my goodness, you want to talk about the most overrated political hype of a generation? It would go to Michelle Obama. Anyway, that's just a side note that's been on my mind for a while.
I'm happy to make fun of her look. It's very strange. It was Benny Johnson who dubbed that one hairstyle the Stegosaurus.
I'm not getting into that.
She like 3 bumps on the back, Stegosaurus. It's very...
Just when Michelle Obama thought she could glide into her Netflix-funded retirement, blending green smoothies and affirmations in peace, in crash Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly like a wrecking crew at a self-help seminar. Gutfeld's hurling zingers, sharper than Michelle's biceps, while Megyn's pulling receipts like she's cleaning out the West Wing. And suddenly, the reigning queen of calm is sweating like it's cardio day at SoulCycle. What did they find that's got Michelle's PR team hitting DEFCON 1? Oh, it's messier than a detox gone wrong.
Michelle thinks American men suck.
Let me warn you, your rage does not exist in a vacuum. If we don't get this election right, your wife, your daughter, your mother, we as women will become collateral damage to your rage. To the women listening, we have every right to demand that the men in our lives do better by us. We have to use our voices to make these choices clear to the men that we love. Our lives are worth more than their anger and disappointment.
What's that pitter-patter sound I'm hearing in the background? It's the footsteps of Barack running to vote for Trump.
Michelle Obama doesn't just enter the political arena, she glides in like it's Paris Fashion Week, arms waving with motivational precision, eyes locked in icon mode, as the media erupts like she just balanced the budget, ended world hunger, and made quinoa cupcakes that don't taste like cardboard. Somehow every breath she takes is supposed to inspire a nation. No pressure, just your average former First Lady now moonlighting as America's moral compass, slowly getting toasted by Megyn and Greg like a s'more who forgot it's not fireproof.
So, Kat, they know that they're having a hard time with men.
Right.
Doesn't seem like this is the right strategy.
No.
She basically says that they're hurting women by voting for Trump.
But I think they don't understand that where it comes from in the first place is that people are sick of being told how bad they are and talked down to. And
let's not kid ourselves. Michelle's political presence lands with all the subtlety of tofu at a Texas BBQ. It doesn't fit. Nobody asked for it. But there it is, seasoned with life advice and insisting it's the main attraction. She's spent a decade rebranding herself as the nation's emotional support human, doling out pocket-sized platitudes like she's running a pop-up therapy booth in a crumbling strip mall of ideas.
Republican women are too dumb to make up their own minds about President Trump. They did it because they're men. Told them to after that ridiculous, remember that ad the Democrats ran with Julia Roberts voiceover? Where the women
I remember.
like secretly...
It's our little secret.
Yeah, this is what they think of. This is what they think of Republican women.
Enter Megyn Kelly, who's clearly had it with Michelle's not running, but look at me tour. Because nothing says I'm staying out of politics like constant interviews, a chart-topping memoir named like a discarded Coldplay single, The Light. We carry in a team big enough to staff its own embassy. Michelle claims she's just a relatable American whispering wisdom from her Martha's Vineyard estate, all while cashing endorsement checks like she's the CEO of Humble Inc.
Obama, listen to this.
And at this phase of my life, I'm in therapy right now because I'm transitioning. You know, I'm 60 years old. I've finished a really hard thing in my life with my family intact. I'm an empty nester. My girls are in, you know, they've been launched. And now for the first time, as I've said before, every choice that I'm making is completely mine. I now don't have the excuse of, well, my kids need this or my husband needs that or the country needs that. So how do I think about this next phase?
Once again, speaking a reference to her time as First Lady negatively, and I'm transitioning. I mean, an interesting choice of words. given how the internet refers.
Greg Gutfeld, forever the sarcastic goblin in a land of politically enchanted pixies, couldn't resist poking at the halo hovering over Michelle. Let's be real, she could trip over a toddler, and MSNBC would spin it into a masterclass on grace. But if anyone so much as questions her high-gloss empowerment tour, it's treated like heresy. It's Beyoncé during clips levels of untouchable. Critique her, you might as well spit at the moon.
Is it, Michelle? It's not. I've been married for 17 and a half years, and not one was bad. I think she and he married the wrong people.
I think you're 100% right. This is only her third episode. I can't think of anybody I would go to for advice less than Michelle Obama. She really doesn't know what she's talking about. First of all, she loves to tell us she hated Barack for a good decade.
Yes.
Okay, please teach me how to have a successful relationship with someone that you clearly respect and admire. Every time she's on the air, it's like, I'm dragging this ball of dead weight behind me. His name, Barack Obama.
Megyn didn't show up with compliments, she brought facts fire, and the verbal equivalent of a stun gun aimed straight at Michelle's above politics. But here's why you should vote Sermon Circuit. It's the kind of doublespeak that could generate enough energy to power downtown Chicago. Technically, Michelle's not running for office, she's just collecting the benefits. The applause, the glow-ups, the media worship, minus the messy stuff like debates or accountability. That's not leadership. That's influencer vibes with a Secret Service detail. She's become the curated, carbon-neutral version of political royalty, all Polish, no policy. And while it may look harmless, Michelle's emotional appeal is now. The go-to damage control whenever Barack's legacy hits turbulence. Didn't go well for Obama? Here comes Michelle, floating in with a moving speech and a beachside cameo with Oprah. She's basically Clippy for political fallout. Looks like you're being criticized. Would you like to hear something inspirational instead?
They blame gender for her surrender. This week, Michelle Obama scolded female Trump supporters in front of an audience at a business conference in Boston, a city in Massachusetts. She said the former First Lady, quote, "Any woman who voted against Hillary Clinton voted against their own voice. What does it mean for us as women that we look at those two candidates and many of us said, that guy, he's better for me. His voice is more true to me." Well, to me, that just says you don't like your voice. You like the thing you're told to like. I don't get this. No one likes their own voice. Have you ever listened to your own voicemail? It is horrible.
Greg Gutfeld, sarcasm's top ambassador and patron saint of eye rolls, wasn't buying the act. To him, Michelle is that coworker who swears they hate drama, then books a trust-building retreat that ends in tears and HR complaints. She claims she's above politics, but conveniently reappears every election cycle like a motivational jack-in-the-box. And each time she surfaces, the media throws a ticker tape parade like she just cured fascism with a TED Talk. Remember that Netflix special, where she descended into stadiums like a spiritual Beyoncé with a lighting crew? That wasn't a book tour. It was a revival tent for the emotionally exhausted, starring Saint Michelle under stage lights brighter than a third-world GDP. And yet, she clutches her pearls at the ugliness of politics, despite being married too. The guy who signed off on drone strikes and mass deportations. But sure, she's just here to bring light and unity, ideally sponsored by Amazon and moderated by Ellen. Even her wardrobe gets the messianic treatment she wears yellow, and Vogue writes a 4,000-word hymn about sunflowers, justice, and racial healing. She could wear a hazmat suit and the New York Times would headline, "Michelle Obama neutralizes pathogens with poise."
Me down. I'm trying to elevate myself with like these things on my head.
It looks like Mickey Mouse.
It's
with,
so
like
weird.
The two ears up there, these two big balls on the left and the right of her head.
Like, what kind of midlife crisis is she in the throes of right now?
No,
she's constantly.
Did you see the other one where she had the three balls on the back of her head, and I think it was Benny Johnson was calling it her Stegosaurus cut. That's what it looks like the back of a
hilarious.
Megyn Kelly wasn't hypnotized by the glamour either. She called out the contradiction head-on Michelle wants the power of politics without the accountability. She's perfected the art of having the cake, devouring it, and then accusing you of fat shaming. And who could forget Michelle's latest image revamped the burdened, misunderstood icon she laments being called angry, all while delivering veiled shade in bedtime story tones that could double as white noise on a meditation app. She once dismissed flyover states, then launched a voter initiative aimed squarely at them with the forced enthusiasm of someone explaining Instagram to a grandparent. Suddenly, she's for the people, but only during election years. The rest of the time, she's on a yacht whispering about democracy to a succulent. Gutfeld joked she might be the only person who can attend a fundraiser, condemn capitalism, and leave with a $300K check and a complimentary ethical diamond. Kelly agreed Michelle's not a politician anymore, she's a lifestyle brand. There's probably a scented candle out there that smells like vague moral superiority and Oprah's approval.
You know, the condescension doesn't work. None of what they're doing really works. I mean, the Walls AOC live stream of them playing Madden together was supposed to be to get like dudes who like football on their side, and they did it during football. Like, who's consulting them on this stuff?
Yeah. It's
a woman, probably, also.
It's a gay man.
Michelle has entered the political arena with cheat codes. She delivers partisan sermons dressed as self-help speeches and never gets a follow-up question. She laments the difficulty of being admired and successful, while fans nod as if she's political Joan of Arc, not a multi-million-dollar nostalgia tour wrapped in podcast jingles. Critics are told they're punching down, as though calling out a woman with a private chef, a global platform, and a Netflix empire is somehow mean-spirited. Meanwhile, Michelle's motivational cycle rolls on like a predictable script. Step 1, announce political fatigue. Step 2, drop a memoir about feelings and kitchen tables. Step 3, appear on every outlet except Animal Planet. Step 4, gently imply the opposition is a threat to democracy. Step 5, collect 7-figure speaking fees while asking Americans to chip in $10 to save the country. Gutfeld saw through it instantly. He joked that Michelle's humility has a marketing budget rivaling Marvel's complete with stage lighting and pyrotechnics.
She's constantly like hitting that wound of like, are we divorcing? Don't be gossiping about us. You know, I'm just trying to be an independent woman over here. I hate my husband, but I love my husband. But, you know, when she's not doing that, so her brother is her podcast co-host, she's constantly berating him. Like every episode, you didn't tell me you were having marital problems. Like, he has to explain to her a million freaking times, hey, I was trying to work out my marriage, and if it did work out and I told you what the problems were, you would hold a grudge against my wife for the rest of your days.
Which is real. We all know it.
We all know. Nobody holds a grudge like Michelle Obama.
It's amazing. Every word she says about Barack Obama is...
Kelly took particular delight in dismantling Michelle's just like you act, comparing it to a real housewife, claiming she shops exclusively at Target. The disconnect is astronomical. You'd need a SpaceX rocket just to find common ground. Michelle gives pep talks to working-class Americans from an Italian villa and wonders why relatability is an issue. And then there's the fantasy candidacy the Democrats dream. The Obama brand without the messy stuff like debates, policies, or media scrutiny. Electable, iconic, and entirely out of reach, it's like nominating a hologram. As Gutfeld quipped, Michelle's idea of bipartisanship is hugging a puppy in front of a burning flag, then blaming the fire on misinformation. She sells unity like a scammer sells crypto with soft lighting, a hug, and your wallet missing. She's elevated above it all into a strategy, floating over controversy like a drone camera rolling, piano music playing while ideological opponents get elbowed through uplifting anecdotes wrapped in poetic doom.
Where, like, Michelle Obama is kind of full of it. And you know this is true. When Biden announced he was resigning via fax, nothing weird about it, okay? Obama tweeted that they were looking forward to an open primary where they'd pick a nominee. And I know that to be relevant to this story because you could see that Michelle Obama isn't trying. Like, she accused Trump in that same speech of avoiding interviews. On the same night he did a 3-hour interview. That's like accusing Chris Christie of avoiding pizza. You know what I mean?
Gutfeld and Kelly exposed the magician's trick. Michelle isn't leading a movement, she's managing a brand activation. Each tearful interview, every stage speech, every arena-sized book tour framed as healing is theater. You think you're witnessing moral leadership, you're watching curated optics. She's turned the Oprahification of politics into high art. At this rate, she'll be selling bottled resilience water with electrolytes and a QR code for voter registration. Gutfeld and Kelly didn't need some shocking expose, they just opened the curtain. And what did they reveal? The Empress of Empathy wears custom robes, laundered in political detergent. And just when you think she's taking a breather, she pops up again podcast ready, wrapped in throw blankets and vague advice like, we need to meet people where they are. Sure, Michelle, most people are working 2 jobs in debt, not journaling about inner peace from a Nantucket sunroom.
Because when you're thinking of victims of this awful world, you think of Michelle Obama and how terrible we've all been to her. This woman is a one-woman destitution derby. Every time we check in on her at her podcast, she is feeling sorry for herself. She is criticizing Barack Obama or this country. She never has a positive word to say about any.
What made Gutfeld and Kelly's takedown so effective wasn't cruelty, it was clarity. They didn't need to distort a thing. Michelle's contradictions were the punchline. She's the most powerful non-candidate in America, running harder than anyone not running. Her message be better. Her lifestyle luxury wellness retreat. And anytime someone points out the disconnect, her PR squad unleashes the foghorn. Racism, sexism, how dare you? It's all emotion, no accountability. The issue isn't that Michelle is influential, it's that she plays powerless while wielding more clout than half of Congress. That's not empowerment, that's illusion. And now, thanks to Gutfeld and Kelly, the illusion is cracking. So next, time Michelle tells you she's just here to help. Remember? Help comes with a Netflix series, a book tour, a branded journal, and probably a Target collab. Because in 2025, public service means never having to say you're campaigning while running the whole show anyway.